Hi, third graders. For the second part of our math lesson, we're going to review the strategy of partial products to solve unknown multiplication facts. And before we do that, we're going to do a quick review of some vocabulary, multiplication vocabulary. So if you take a look up here, I have a picture of an array. So I created equal rows and columns. So this is one way that we can build or show a multiplication fact. And if you take a look up here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 going down, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I could say that I have 8 groups of 6 or 6 groups of 8. And the same when I turn it this way. So I have 6 by 8, or 6 times 8, or 8 times 6. So I'm going to go ahead and write that fact up here. I'm going to write it as 6 times 8. When I look up here, my 6 and my 8 are my factors. They're the two numbers that I'm multiplying. And my answer that I'll get will be my product. So what I'm thinking about now when I look at this array is a way that I could break it apart so that I'm working with two smaller or two simpler multiplication facts. So if I'm not feeling real good, or I don't have 6 times 8 memorized yet, I can use this strategy for this fact and other facts that I'm still working on getting memorized. So when I look at this, I know that I can break up my 6 groups of 8 into 2 groups of 4. And I feel really good about my 4 times tables because I know I can double my double. So instead of looking at this as 6 groups of 8, I'm going to take a look at it as 6 groups of 4 and 6 groups of 4, or 4 groups of 6 and 4 groups of 6, because when I flip-flop these factors, my product's going to stay the same. So I'm going to take a look at my big array here, and I'm going to circle my 4 groups of 6, or my 6 groups of 4, and my other 6 groups of 4, or 4 groups of 6. Because remember, when I turn this, even though it looks a little bit different, I still have the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this array can show me 6 times 8, or 8 times 6. And when I break it apart, I can look at it as 4 times 6, or 6 times 4. So now I need to solve my 2 multiplication facts here. So 6 times 4, I know I can double my double. So 6 plus 6 is 12, and then 12 plus 12 is 24. And I'm just going to come down here to make sure that my product's correct. So I have 6 times 4 here, or 6 groups of 4. I'm going to skip count by 6. So I have 6, 12, what would 6 more be? 18, and then 24. So if 6 times 4 is 24 here, I know that another group of 6 times 4 is also going to be 24. So I want you to think for a minute, now that we've gotten the product to our 2 simpler multiplication facts, what do we need to do now to find out what 6 times 8 is? You're right, we have to add our 2 partial products. So we need to add 24 plus 24. And that'll give us 48. So our 48 is our product. Let's just review our skip counting that we did in the first video for getting our list of multiples, just to have another way to double check that 6 times 8 really is 48. So let's do our multiples of 6. So we're going to have to skip count 8 times. So here's our one group of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I'm going to give you a moment. So if you want to pause and fill in those multiples or products, go ahead and then push play when you're ready. All right, so we have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, and 48. So our product of 6 times 8 is 48, or if we look at it, 8 times 6, we flip our factors, our product is still 48. All right, let's take a look at one more fact. Let's take a look here at the multiplication fact, 7 times 6. We have our two factors, 7 and 6, and we're trying to get our answer or our product. So I could look at this as 6 times 7. I can turn it 7 times 6. So I could flip my factors if I wanted to. I want you to go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try the partial product strategy. And remember, you can decide which factor you break apart. If you want to break apart the 7, you can do that. If you want to break apart the 6, you can do that. So go ahead and pause the video and try this on your own. And then when you're ready to check, or if you get stuck, hit play and we'll come back together and solve this. All right, so I'm thinking of a way that I can break apart one of these two factors so that I have two multiplication facts that I feel better about right now. So when I see 7, I know that 2 and 5 make 7. And I feel good about my 2 times tables, and I also feel good about my 7 times tables. So I'm going to still keep my groups of 6, but I'm not going to look at or work with 7 groups of 6 right now. I'm going to work with 2 groups of 6, and I'm going to work with 5 groups of 6. So if I take a look down here at my array, I have 2 groups of 6, put that here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 6. So I have 2 groups of 6, I didn't touch that other factor, and I have 5 groups of 6. 2 times 6, I have a double there, I know is 12, and then 5 times 6 is 30, and I have to join my partial products here to get my complete product. Remember, partial products are parts of products. So I have 30 and another 10 here, so that's 40, or 4 10s and 2. So my product is 42. Let's take a look at one other way you may have broken one of the factors up. And let's see if we also get 42. So some of you may have chosen to break the 6 into a 3 and a 3. So instead of working with 6 groups of 7 or 7 groups of 3, you decided to work with 3 groups of 7 and 3 groups of 7. So if we take a look here, some of you may have chosen to look at this a different way. So 3 groups of 7 and 3 groups of 7. Let's see if we get the same product. So 3 times 7, I have 7 plus 7 is 14, and another group of 7 is 21. So I know if 3 times 7 over here is 21, 3 times 7 is also going to be 21. And 21 plus 21, stack my numbers over here, is 42. So remember, this is a good strategy to use when you come across a multiplication fact that you don't have memorized yet. If you need to challenge yourself today, you can use partial product with bigger factors, greater factors, like 15 times 6. So kind of think about where you are with some of the facts that you might need some extra practice with, and for a little bit of extra math today, you can practice this strategy with some of those facts that you are still working on becoming more fluent with.